When you're writing an exponential function and you're given 2 points, you're going to use the standard formula y equals a times b to the x power, and you're going to make a system of equations, much like we did in our module where we did systems of equations. So here we are, we're given the points 1, 6, and 3, 24. So we're going to take one of those sets of points and put them into the equation, and we're going to take the other set of points and put it into the equation again to give us 2 equations to work with for a system of equations. So we'll put x in for 1 and 6 in for y, and that gives us our first one. And then we put 3 in for x and 24 in for y, and that gives us our second equation. And now we can use substitution to solve our system. So the first thing we do is we're going to take that first equation and we're going to solve for a. We're going to get a by itself. So we take b to the first power, which is just b. We divide both sides by b and we get 6 over b equals a, or a equals 6 over b. And then we take that and we plug it into our second equation. So in our equation that says 24 equals a times b to the third power, we're going to change that a to 6 over b, which means that we have 6 times b to the third over b, and using that quotient of powers rule that we learned, we will change that to 6 times b squared. Divide both sides by 6 so that we get b squared by itself, and we get 4 equals b squared, which is super nice because 4 is a perfect square. So we can take the square root of both sides, and we get that b is equal to 2. But we're not done there, because now all we know is what b is, and we need to know what a is as well. So we're going to take 2, we're going to put it back into that very first equation. 6 equals a times b to the first power. We'll change b to 2, which is what we found up here. And we have a times 2 to the first power. Well, 2 to the first power is just 2. So we're going to divide both sides by 2 to get a by itself, and we get that the answer is 3. So that means that our equation for our exponential function that passes through the points 1, 6, and 3, 24 is y equals 3 times 2 to the x power. How can you check to see whether or not your equation is correct? Write that down in your notes and have it ready to go for later. And here is your study tip. The graphs of multiple functions pass through the points 1, 6, and 3, 24. For example, the linear equation y equals 9x minus 3 also passes through these points. However, because you were told to find the exponential function that passes through these points, you can assume that the exponential relationship is the correct one. So make sure that you are reading the directions and finding out if it's supposed to be a linear or exponential function that you are finding.